You know what it is, GB Double T here. The trade deadline has passed in the NFL. We're 8 weeks into the season, Travis, whether we could believe it or not. We see who's legit, who fell off, who has a come up and a glow up. Trav, I want to revisit our Super Bowl picks before the season.
Do we have to?
I don't want to light you up, but you're always someone that'll shoot straight. You always keep me honest.
Yeah.
And I know the Raiders were in there for you. How you feeling now, brother?
I'm feeling terrible. You said fell off. They never showed up to the party, okay? So it was when keeping it real goes wrong for me, GB. That's all it is. But I did say the Eagles would be dominant. And if you remember, I have a ticket, 22-1, for an exact matchup in the NFC title game. Eagles-Niners. And my other Super Bowl pick was the 49ers against the Raiders. So technically, I called the Eagles being really good, and I still think the Niners could get there. So I was half wrong because the Raiders are finito.
Hey, and the big shocker, too, is the Eagles no matter what, because they now have the second shortest odds to win the Super Bowl behind only the Buffalo Bills. But the Eagles, undefeated at this point, have a cakewalk of a schedule leading up to that game. You can see that matchup in the NFC Championship very easily.
I could, and I got to tell you, I mean, we know this. Philly is a real home field advantage. There's certain teams in the league, both teams from LA, for example, where you don't really get that home field. Philly is not one of them. I mean, they threw batteries at Santa Claus, okay? Need I say more? So if you have to go through there, it's going to take a tough team with experience like the Niners to beat them.
Now, post-trade deadline, we see the Bills make a move. We saw the Eagles bring in Robert Quinn as a pass rusher to complement and make that defense even better. Out of all the moves we saw at the trade deadline, which one boosted any team, in your opinion?
Well, there were two teams, and they're both AFC teams, and both teams that we think will be in the playoffs. I like what the Dolphins did. I mean, look, to me, their deficiencies right now in terms of a cold weather playoff style team, running the football and defensively. Remember, they're not as good as when Brian Flores was there. So adding a Bradley Chubb, adding a Jeff Wilson, I think really sort of attacks their weaknesses that they have. Because when you get in the playoffs, you have to be able to rush the passer, have to be able to stop the run, and you have to be able to run the ball, especially with that type of explosive offense. You have to be able to play some ball control, too. Ask the Bills about that. I mean, they'd have a Super Bowl right now if they could have done that.
Yeah, and they went out and got Nyheim Hines. More of a pass-catching back, but that extra layer of offense they wanted. And for the Dolphins, a good point you make. Bradley Chubb, to me, with Jalen Phillips, helps out Christian Wilkins, and can free up Emmanuel Ogbah. Everything comes down to, can you stop Patrick Mahomes? Can you stop Josh Allen? Don't think about winning the Super Bowl. Focus on getting there, because you have to get past the two best teams in the AFC to get there for the Dolphins.
I like what the Ravens did, too, with Roquan Smith. I mean, look, we know, okay, Lamar Jackson is a superhuman. We understand that. He can do everything, but he can't tackle. So defensively, they are a mess. They're playing better as of late, but not that Ravens style that we're used to. That's their brand, is defense, right? So adding him, someone who didn't want to be in Chicago, said he wanted to go to a contender, although I think it's about the money, but that's another topic for another day. Now he's there, no excuses, you got to ball out.
Hey, and Roquan Smith with Patrick Queen, both those linebackers in the middle, helps out that defense. The Ravens have a top 6 offense in the league, a bottom 10 defense. So, hey, that's the opposite of what we know from Baltimore, but now we see it. Okay, give me a long shot you like now when you look at the landscape.
How can you not say Tampa Bay? I understand the drama. I understand he's going through some things. I understand they're not playing well. But that division, I mean, GB, it's a mess. The Falcons are fugazi. You know it, I know it, and you know it. So to me, I mean, he's going to win the division. It could be at 7-10. Look, the Saints have a bunch of injuries. Don't even get me started on the Panthers. So I think Tom still wins the division, and if he gets into the playoffs, we know how that story usually ends.
I like how you set this one up, because next I want to go. Give me one division winner you like from the NFC, one division winner you like from the AFC. I'm going to throw a challenge. You can't say Tampa Bay again.
All right, fair enough. You asked the hard-hitting questions. All right, I'll go. Give me the Bengals to win the AFC North at plus 370. Look, I just bragged about how I think the Ravens won the trade deadline. Obviously, we know Lamar, Roquan Smith there. But the Bengals, I mean, they were in the Super Bowl, okay? What I think they're having is a little bit of an identity crisis. They need to run the ball a little bit more. Don't just lean on Joe Burrow all the time. Joe Mixon can ball. Use him. So I like them. And then I like Seattle plus 310 to win the NFC West. And I know, I said San Fran in the Super Bowl. They could do it through a wild card. Look how Seattle's playing right now. And they have all the tools, running the ball, playing better defense. And I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Geno Smith. Can you believe it?
I can't. As someone that grew up in New Jersey, watched Geno Smith with the Jets. This is insane to see, but I like that Seahawks call too. I love them at plus money, and they're the only team that's first in their division that you could get value on at that price, because the Niners are the favorites to win that division, but currently at minus money. And you think about it, Howard Cross at left tackle, and they have all the premium positions checked off. Elite receivers, elite corners, run the ball, and at quarterback too.
GB, I'll give you a bonus bet with the Seahawks. You have got to look at and think about Pete Carroll now as Coach of the Year. I mean, I know there's a lot of great coaches. I know what Sirianni's doing. I know O'Connell in Minnesota. Everyone loves him. Obviously, Brian Dable with the Giants. But look at what Pete Carroll's doing, GB. You have got to consider him as Coach of the Year too.
And I'll go Executive of the Year, John Schneider, over in Seattle, because he's built this team. Year one through the draft, you lose Russ. You see what they have the tackles. Let me correct myself. I said Howard Cross is Charles Cross, left tackle. I'm thinking of the New York Giants, great. But also on top of that, step in. They have this team built for this system that comes over from the Rams and Sean McVay. That's why Geno Smith is flourishing, and that's why the Seahawks can make a real run.
Hey, look at you. Look at this outfit. Heat on the feet. The jacket game still elite. You the man, GB.
My number one hype man. Thanks, Trav.